All right, we go to the cruise bracket to try to determine their representative in the elite, or from the Elite Eight to the Final Four. We have the Burj Khalifa climb from Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, taking on the Almond Hen fight from Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring. Ghost Protocol has done. I can't say Ghost Protocol yet. Goddamn. It's taken out the warehouse scene from Batman vs Superman. It's taken out the Avengers Endgame scene of the Big Three versus Thanos, and it's taken out its own fucking brother from Mission Impossible 5 Rogue Nation's water tank heist. Meanwhile, Fellowship of the Ring has taken out the duel of Wesley and Inigo from The Princess Bride. It's taking out what was probably the most impressive early victory. Fellowship of the Ring took out the truck chase and flip from The Dark Knight, and it took out the club scene from the original John Wick. So Burj Khalifa versus Almond Hen. How'd you score it?
I was split 5-5.
I had a feeling you might do that to me.
Yeah. I have a leaning if you do split. Like I have a 5.5 if needed.
We don't need it. I'm gonna quote Ric Flair here with a tear in my eye. I went with Ghost Protocol 6-4.
Okay. I was actually leaning the other way.
Again, it pains me that I have now been the deciding vote on 2 Lord of the Rings losses because I fucking adore the Lord of the Rings. It's my favorite story of all time. Greatest trilogy of all time.
If we allowed decimals, it was 5.5 to 4.5.
Yeah,
Fellowship.
That's where I was on the Fellowship Dark Knight fight. Was I was like, if I have to argue, I think it has to be Fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
Quickly on Ghost Protocol, the reason that I had the win here was the tension. You just feel so much for Ethan Hunt in that moment, where you just go, can this guy not catch a fucking break? Why can nothing just be as simple as go through the door, shoot some people, leave? Like, why can it never be like that?
That's what it was in the first 3. Right. Not anymore.
Right. And now he has climbing gloves that don't fucking work half the time, and he has a slack line that isn't large enough, and all this shit does not go right for him.
That's actually a great moment that's often overlooked in that scene.
Yes.
Is the fact that he's climbing with one hand.
Oh, God. Again, I feel so much fear and tension in my chest, in my stomach, in my fucking butthole watching that goddamn scene, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what it did for me, because I love The Fellowship of the Ring is my favorite book of the 3. The Almond Hen fight is one of my favorites of all the trilogy outside of The Ride of the Rohirrim and You Bow to No One. It's the best part of The Fellowship of the Ring, in my opinion, outside of Samwise Gamgee just being Samwise Gamgee. Like,
Fellowship is my favorite movie of the 3.
I think I would argue the same. It's really close with Return of the King, but I would probably say Fellowship of the Ring is. It just moves differently than the other 2. The other 2 have a very epic pace. Not that Fellowship doesn't, but there's such a clear, like, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
I've always preferred the first one. I don't know why. I always have.
I used to be far more Return of the King. And there was a kid, because you're a kid and you just are wowed by spectacle. There's a little part of me that's like Two Towers, but Two Towers is so clearly, which is so dumb because it's such an incredible movie, but to me is so clearly the 3rd place spot now.
I don't know. I hear a lot of people say Two Towers is their favorite.
They have the same argument I had when I was 12, which is why I kind of just go, okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Helm's Deep's so cool. I'm like, well, what else about it? Well, Helm's Deep's so cool. I'm like, I'm not saying it's not cool. For instance, I think I love Avengers Endgame more than Avengers Infinity War. But I think Infinity War is a tighter and better movie. But Endgame is so clearly my favorite and way cooler and better in those moments.
I like Infinity War more.
But Infinity War, I think, is a better movie. But,
so,
you know,
one of the things that I like about the Fellowship scene, even more than, I don't know if I would say it's better than the Return of the King battle. It's pretty close though. I like both. I like it more than Helm's Deep actually.
Okay.
The Fellowship battle, because there's no digital effects in there at all because they couldn't do it yet. Because it hadn't been created. The software had not been created yet.
Yeah.
So they just couldn't do like big crowd simulations yet.
So it's just a bunch of people in Urukai costume. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just
I
extras and like incredible looking makeup.
I will say
I'm sure some crappy looking masks. I'm sure in the far background. I'm sure there's some shitty looking masks out there.
I'm gonna be honest. I know they're only gonna show their best in the behind the scenes. I don't know if anything shitty was made on that film. Everything's impeccable.
You gotta assume that there's some crappy looking shit in the far background.
I would love to.
It happens in everything.
I'd love to be an extra and just volunteer for the worst stuff, and just say, "Well, I was in the shot. Well, where are you? You see that guy way, way, way back there that you'll never be able to determine, other than you can clearly see that there's a head in a crowd. You're like, yeah, that's me. Why? I had the worst. I had the worst costume of anybody. I got the rush job costume.
Yeah,
which you can.
That happens a lot.
You can never tell in the Fellowship of the Ring that happens.
No, they're good at hiding it, but yeah. So that's something I really like about that battle. I shouldn't say I like their character moments more, but it still has like the entire Fellowship together.
Yeah.
So it's fun to see all the characters you love still have these moments together. Well, except Gandalf, obviously.
Outside of this events of Khazad-dûm, that's the scene in which that changes everything for everybody.
Yes.
And what I love is, speaking of those character moments, and we've said this a lot, I said this in the Two Towers as well, the fantasy world building aspects are so subtly sown throughout that scene, and they still leave you wanting more and room for growth, but that scene is so impeccable by itself, in which, I mean, it's the only one to make it the Elite Eight. All three Lord of the Rings movies got a Sweet 16. But this is the only one to make it to the Elite Eight, and it's for good reason. And it's the least scale of all three of them, so that should show you. Doesn't always have to be epic scope in terms of giant battlefield. But the big thing here for me was, in character moment, that I just adore is you have reluctant leader Aragorn, where he really is not sure of himself yet. He's not sure he should be the one to do this. He's fine if it's just him and Frodo, but he doesn't believe that he's there to lead everybody. And after that fight, he knows. It's the first time that you see the king. It's a small snippet. You can see where the warrior is the king, where he refuses the temptation of the ring, puts the sword up, and he's going to take on the entire crowd of Uruk-hai. Come the fuck on. You get to see the king there. It's awesome.
Yeah. You also get, like, really great, not just, like, emotional moments, but really cool action moments as well.
Yes.
Like the part where, I don't know, I'm sure the Uruk-hai, that main guy, has a name. I'm sure he does.
I'd have to look it up. But yeah.
But when he throws the shield and then Aragorn gets pinned to the tree,
it's so cool.
It's so cool. Awesome. I mean, Boromir just getting impaled by arrows is pretty fucking awesome. Let's be honest here.
It looks cool. Sean Bean can't live.
Yeah.
I said this on an earlier show. I just recently watched The Martian, and he doesn't die in that, and it felt wrong. Because Sean Bean exclusively dies.
I forgot he's in that. Yes,
and he was I think he was my favorite character in the entire thing because he's just so rogue. He didn't give a fuck. I loved him. Again,
that guy's name is Lurtz.
Yes, it is Lurtz. Yes. So again, you get Aragorn with these great moments. You get Sam he doesn't even really get to a fight. It's just Sam sprinting throughout the forest, showing the devotion to Frodo.
And then you get Merry and Pippin like sacrificing themselves for Frodo.
Exactly. It's that first moment where you can see why they are the friends they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they already proved enough being in the chase to Bree. But since Rivendell, they haven't done anything where you're like, God damn, they're real ones.
That's not true. Pippin knocked that skeleton down the hole and fucked it up for him.
And possibly could be blamed for Gandalf's original death. Yes.
Have you ever seen that meme of where it shows like a bunch of dominoes and they become increasingly bigger, and it shows like Pippin's
maybe?
It shows the little one is Pippin knocking the skeleton down, and then it shows it from his point of view, where it's like all the things that happen because of him, and it's like pretty much Pippin as the hero of Lord of the Rings. It's really funny. It's great.
I mean, we love Pippin. Pippin's great.
He used to be my favorite character in the whole series.
Yeah, I think he's my least favorite Hobbit. I'm not sure. I don't know. In the books, it's a little bit different. In the movies, he's clearly the fourth. To me, it's actually, that's a lie. In the movies, Frodo's my least favorite.
Here we go. I got the meme. It's push the skeleton down the shaft, wake up the Balrog. Gandalf falls and comes back stronger. The Fellowship splits. The Ents help defeat Saruman. Aragorn and Legolas, Gimli and Gandalf help Rohan and Gondor. Sauron is distracted as Sam and Frodo sneak into Mordor. The One Ring is destroyed. and it shows Pippin as the guy knocking down the dominoes. It's so funny. It's such a great meme.
But again, you could see that's the time that you can look at both of them and go, y'all are real ones. You stand by your friends. Where I love that realization moment where Pippin's like, what's he doing? And Merry's like, he's leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of comes up, he gets shocked and he's like, oh fuck, we can't help. Well, here's how we're going to help. Just run, Frodo. Go. We'll get it. We'll take care of it. And they're fighting to the very end. They're throwing rocks at fucking Uruk-hai. They don't give a shit. Yeah. Legolas and Gimli still get a couple moments there, and the ultimate redemption of Boromir, where that scene sets up so much of what the temptation and paranoia of the ring is for Frodo.
Yes.
It's incredible. And that redemption of Boromir, where he's got 3 arrows in his chest, he knows he's done his friend wrong, and he just wants to fight to the bitter end to prove that it wasn't really his character to do that. It was the temptation of the ring. He's a good man. Oh,
mm-hmm.
Not a dry eye in the theater. Come on now.
It's a great battle.
Again, it doesn't give you the same physical tense feeling that Ghost Protocol does.
Yeah.
Which is why I went with Ghost Protocol on the 6-floor split. Ghost Protocol is moving on to the Elite Four with a 11-9 victory. And once again, the big Lord of the Rings fan of the two of us stabs Lord of the Rings in the heart, and it's great to feel that way, apparently.
Yeah. Well, really, it was a little bit closer for allowing decimals.
Yeah, if we allowed decimal points. The problem is eventually we get into this point where it's like 5.5 or like 5.4 versus like 5.6 the other way. It's like, how much more can we do?
That's why I'm not allowing it. Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll make another friend and be able to have 3 people in a fucking tournament situation, but who knows?